Hey YouTube, Sandyfrank here. Today, this is going to be an episode of Hobby Talk, and today's subject is going to be: should I cross over, send in cards to get crossover graded, or send cards in to get regraded? And this is a subject that I've thought about a lot recently because I've been starting to get cards back from PSA, and sometimes I think, man, I don't understand how I got this grade on this card. It looks perfect. And I've thought maybe I should get it sent in to regrade it. And here's my decisions on these and my thought process. So I picked this up at a local hobby shop, paid a very nice price. It's a BGS 9.5 without subgrades of Luka Doncic Panini Prism card. And I looked up the prices. This card as a BGS 9.5 is going for about $850, where a PSA 10 of this card, that's a gem mint grade, by the way, and a PSA 10, which is gem mint in PSA, is going for about $1,600 to $1,700. So that's almost twice as much value of a PSA 10 over a BGS 9.5. So this card, I looked over very closely. I did not see any issues with it. If it got a BGS 9.5, it's very likely extremely good condition. It is gem mint, and I feel like they looked over the cards very well, and maybe it just had some slight defect that kept it from getting the BGS 10. I don't send cards to BGS, so I'm going to get this sent to PSA. I looked over the card. I don't know if you guys can look and see what you think. I didn't see any surface. Let me pull it out of the sleeve. I didn't see any types of surface scratches on it. Actually, the case is in really nice shape too. I didn't see any surface flaws. If you look at the back, corners are very crisp. Everything looks good on centering. I feel like it has a pretty good shot at a PSA 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it. It's going to cost me $50 to get a crossover if I do it this way. I'm going to send it in this holder to PSA and tell them that the minimum grade that I want is a PSA 10. And if they agree that this is a PSA 10 card, they'll break this out of this holder and put it into the PSA slab. And I'll get charged the grading. Now, if they say, no, this is a PSA 9, or it's not going to be at least a PSA 10, they will just leave it in the holder and send it back to me, but I'll still get charged grading. So to me, I mean, it's not, I'll tell you, that process is a $50 charge. I'm confident that this could get a PSA 10, so I'm going to go ahead and take that risk, but I wouldn't want to just tell them to grade it whatever, because if they don't say it's going to be a 10, I'll get back a PSA 9, which is worth less than this card. So, if they don't give me a PSA 10, at least I still have this card in a nice BGS holder. Okay, so here's some other cards. Like this one, this Otani, is a BGS 8.5, which it got dinged on corners and surfaces, both at 8.5, but centering 9.5 and edges of 9. So pretty good graded card. But this is a card that I would not try to send in to regrade, because I know that relic cards, like thick cards like this, they do not grade well, and I'm just going to keep it the way it is. It looks nice in this holder. I don't think it's going to get a 10 if I send it back to PSA. So this is a card that I am not going to take that chance of sending it in to get a different grade. I even think if I broke it out and sent it in raw out of this holder, it could possibly get a PSA 8. You know, because they judge thick cards, like relic cards like this, pretty tough. Okay, here's one some of these I'd like your guys' input on. Okay, so this Trae Young, It graded as a PSA 9. Now, if he has a really big year this year, this card is going to go up in value even as a PSA 9, but as a PSA 10, it's going to go way up because it's a very nice looking card and it's his rookie card. And this is a card that I did not see any obvious issues with. All the corners look good. They must have just seen something. But this is a card that I would not send in this holder. I would actually, since this was graded by PSA, so I have a feeling that they're not going to want to change their own grade if they see this. So if I send this in, I'm going to break it out of this holder and just resubmit it. Plus, if you send it in the holder, that's $50. If you just send it in raw, I could just send it in a bulk order I think modern cards are now like $13. So it'd be way cheaper to do it that way. And I seriously don't think it's going to get less than a 9. And if it does, no big deal. 9s and 8s are really not that big of a difference. But a 10, this would be really nice to have in a 10. So this is one I would probably break out. This Lebron, now this one is another one that I would think about. I'd have to look over this card very closely and maybe compare the centering with some known PSA 10s. But this LeBron actually goes for quite a bit as a PSA 10. It's his second-year card from Topps Finest. So this one might be another one that might be worth taking a chance at breaking out and resubmitting in a bulk submission. See if it would get the 10. Here's a Trae Young. This is a Prism PSA 9 rookie card, Trae Young. I picked this up with this at the same time. I looked this card over, and I do not think it will get a 10. I did see there was like a little scuff on the card. I noticed some scuffing on the card up there. I'm pretty sure it's on the card. And I don't think it will grade higher than a PSA 9. So this is one that I'm not going to waste the time trying to regrade it because it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't look like a PSA 10. Plus the centering is off just a little bit and just enough to where it'll probably just get another 9 or maybe even an 8. So I'm not going to do that one. This is one that is very low pop. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, PSA 9, the copper Prism. There's only 60 of this card. The PSA 10s go for quite a bit, but this is a card that I just don't know enough about what they're looking for for a PSA 10. I looked it over. I didn't see anything, but one of the viewers, when they saw me reveal it, they said that they saw a praying line. I don't see a praying line, but I don't necessarily know what to look for on this X Factor to be able to tell what PSA is looking for. So I'll probably hold a PSA 9 on this one until I learn more about X Factors. Here's a card I picked up from the local hobby shop. I love it. It's a very common card. NBA Hoops, Michael Jordan. I got it for $20. It was a steal. A PSA 9 Jordan from the 80s for $20. I couldn't believe how good of a deal that was. They don't go for very much, but they do go for quite a bit as a PSA 10. But I think it's also super tough for these cards to get PSA 10. So this is a card that I just like having slabbed, and I mean it's not going to be $1,000 card if it's a 10. It's like a $150 card. So this would be a card I'd probably just keep like this because I like. It looks awesome in this holder too, with this red and white and the Bulls colors. Here's another card that is a candidate. It's a PSA 8 Gilgeous-Alexander. I am not going to send this in because I did see a little small scratch right there on the surface, and there's no way it would get a 10, so there's no point of trying to regrade it. So I'll just keep it like this. Now we have some baseball here. We got Fernando Tatis Jr. This was my biggest disappointing card out of my first submission that I got back. It's a Bowman's Best. It got a PSA 8, and there's never even been a PSA 8. All of them have graded PSA 9 or higher. So it really irritated me, and I looked at this card and looked at it and looked at it and don't see anything wrong with it. I don't understand how it got the 8. This is one I'm definitely going to break out of the holder and resubmit, just because maybe the grader was having a bad day or something. That's the only thing I can think of, because the card's beautiful. It's Tatis, one of the best young players in baseball, and it's worth so much more even as a 9 over an 8. So even if I can just get it as a 9, I'll be very happy. This card, I'm not sure what to do with. I didn't know what to expect. I've had this card in my collection ever since 2016. I sent it in. I got a PSA 9. Of course, his PSA 10 cards are extremely high, but it seems like there's maybe a little bit of scuffing on the very top part of that card right there. I don't know if you can see it in the light. I'm pretty sure that is on the card. So this got a 9. Unfortunately, I don't think it will get higher than that, because they're always going to see that little bit of scuffing up here. And it's tough for bone chromes. You can really see it there. Anyway, I can without the light there. I don't think I'm going to try to resend it. Maybe if this card goes up to like $10,000 or something someday, I might try it. It also is off-center on the back a little bit, if you can see that. It's thicker here than here. So, I probably will not send that one in. Alright, this card, this is my Juan Soto Atomic. It got a PSA 9. Again, this is the only one that has not gotten a 10. There's only 25 of them that were made. All the other ones have gotten PSA 10s. And again, I don't see anything wrong with this card. And this is a card I'm definitely going to try to crack out and resubmit, just in a regular submission. Because if this gets a 10, this is a very, very, very nice card. It's nice as a 9, don't get me wrong. But this is Juan Soto. I think he's going to be a perennial MVP candidate for years. He's awesome. This is his rookie card. Only 25 made. On card auto. I would love to get this for a 10. I might even try it a couple times to try to get the 10. Especially since this is the only one that hasn't gotten one. Now, I have some Pokemon here. This card, it came back as a PSA 3. And I cannot figure out how this got such a bad grade. There's not even white. There's some very slight white on that edge. It is off-centered. But I've never been able to figure out quite how this card ended up getting a PSA 3. I mean, even the holo, I don't even see scratches on the holo. So, even though this isn't a super valuable card, it's not first edition or anything, I'm definitely going to break this out, just even as an experiment to see if it can get better than a 3. And again, I'm not going to send it as a reholder or a crossover, because they'll charge you $50. I'll send it as a bulk, but you'd have to break it out, send it, resubmit as a bulk card, and we'll see what happens. So this one's definitely going to be broke out and resent, just mainly as a test to see how different a different grader might give this card. Because I think it, honestly, I think it could get like a 6 or 7, but it's not going to get a 10. But this is mainly because I don't see how this could have possibly got a 3. Next one is this one. I'm probably not going to resubmit this, even though this is a very hot card right now. This Jesse and James Full Art Trainer. We got a PSA 9. The centering is not perfect, but I've definitely seen other PSA 10s that were more off-centered than this. The back of the card looks perfect. I was kind of surprised that this got a 9. But I have other ones at PSA of this card, So if I get a 10 on one of the other ones, I'm not going to worry about it. The next one to talk about is this Zygarde. Now this is one, I have one other of these Zygardes at PSA right now. If it gets a 10, I'm going to just drop it, not going to think about it. But this one got a 9, and this was very strange because it's, again, perfect. The centering is even dead on. I mean, very slightly off center, but not enough, in my opinion, to make it a 9. If my other one gets a 9, I am going to try to send that one and get a 10 again. And the last card is this one. It's my Pikachu Ex. This is my favorite Pokemon card that I have right now. I love this card. It came back as a PSA 9, but it is not one I'm going to try to resend because I just love the card, and why mess with something that you love? It is actually slightly off center, but I'm not going to try to risk getting a different grade. You can actually see there is a little white on the edge right there. So it's a PSA 9. Even though it would greatly increase the value of the card if it was PSA 10, I am going to keep it in my collection always. So I'm happy with the 9. So I'm not going to resend that one. So that was my thought process and my game plan. What is your game plans for crossing over cards? Do you just send a card in at the original PSA holder to get regraded or get a second opinion? Or would you, like my opinion is, I would always break out a PSA card to send to PSA because I don't think they're willing to overrule what it got graded originally. Just out of like pride, or not pride, but just belief in their graders. I don't think they're ever. I think it's going to be very rare that you would get them to give you a different grade on something they've graded. So I would want to send it in raw. But something that's been Gem Mint graded by BGS, I could see them changing the grade to a PSA 10. Especially since there's no reason. This card looks beautiful. It's definitely Gem Mint, and I don't see any surface issues. That would be the main worry, is that there's some type of surface issue. But I have very full confidence that this will get a PSA 10. And I think they don't mind. They're not going to have an issue with changing someone else's grade like they would their own. And I don't want to risk getting a 9, so I'm not going to break it out. So that's my thoughts. Please leave your thoughts, and this has been Hobby Talk. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'm always thinking of other topics to do, and taking you viewers' ideas for topics for future Hobby Talks. All right, stay tuned. Watch more videos.